as we get a very, very good update on Darnell Wright from Courtney Cronin. We got to talk about that and how the Bears dodged a bullet here and what I learned from her yesterday doing the Chicago Bears podcast. All that and more in today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Let's go. Now, if you are new to the channel, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. Only channel talk Chicago sports, how Chicago talk. So make sure that you stay in tune with us, man. So update here. Very, very exhaled update as somebody tweeted at Courtney and said, "Where is our Wright update?" Courtney quote tweeted him and said, "The Bears have a light practice at 11 a.m. before they'll fly to Tennessee for joint practice with the Tennessee Titans on Thursday. I'm told that Darnell Wright is fine after leaving practice early yesterday with what looked like an elbow injury. We will see if he is out there today." That's very good to hear, because when you heard the elbow injury, not to say that you thought that things were over, right? He was tough. He's a tough SOB. You can't even quantify how crazy it is that this guy got second team All-Pro with a UCL injury last season and that he was able to play through it in that elbow and be able to go out there and still dominate. But to me, hearing this news, you kind of get that exhale, because the one thing that I do wonder about is he still dealing with that same injury? This may be something that plagues Darnell Wright throughout his career, where every now and then he's going to get a stinger. He's going to get something that ends up, causing him a little bit of discomfort, because he never had surgery on the issue. If you remember this last season, he opted, we don't need the surgery, I'll play through it, and put the brace on. He's had that brace on the entire time that he has been at training camp. And so to me, I think that it is very good to hear that Darnell Wright isn't worried about this injury, isn't sitting here. We don't have to be concerned that he's going to miss time with this. It seems we'll see how much practice he does get today, if any at all, and we'll see what we end up seeing from him in the joint practice this upcoming weekend for the Tennessee Titans, because this is not going to be an easy one. This is one where you definitely wanted him to be healthy. You definitely wanted him to be clear, because this is not going to be an easy joint practice for you. That Tennessee defensive line definitely has taken some steps in the right direction. And so for me, it's just good to hear that Darnell is able to get back out there and able to continue practicing, and that there is going to be no IR or anything or time missed for this issue. Let me know how you guys feel down in the comments below. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. And it's so important, bro, because even hearing from Courtney yesterday about practice and how much there has been to this right side continually, she talked about how even after Darnell Wright went out, how DeAndre Swift ripped off a big run. I think she said a 14-yard run to the right side there. You continue to see that this Bears offense is so predicated on doing things to the side of the field that Darnell is on, because of how talented he's been. And I talked about it yesterday. When you look at, what we've seen from how Ben Johnson has run the offense through the last couple of games, and even through the joint practice and training camp overall, there's going to be a large amount of this offense that leans on the success of Darnell Wright. And so he's a player that you need out there no matter what, right? Like, of course, injuries happen and you're going to have to fight through some things. And Theo Benedette was able to go out there and kind of stabilize things for himself as well. But just being able to sit back and have that sigh of relief, knowing that you've got a guy that even if the injuries come, even if he does get banged up, he's going to do everything that he can to get himself back out there and be that warrior that you're hoping that he can be. I think that is a major feather in the cap of this Bears team as far as guys that you are confident in. And never have I felt more confident about paying a player. I mean, honestly, the last player I was this confident about paying, this is tough, actually. Who's the last player I was this confident about paying? Maybe Khalil Mack? But we didn't extend him. Akeem Hicks? Akeem Hicks, maybe? Where you just went, yeah, the money's going to be well spent. He's going to go out there. He's going to do his job. He's going to do his job at a really, really high level, and he's going to eviscerate people as that happens. That combination between him and Jonah Jackson on that right side, to me, I think is truly one of the ones that you talk about as an elite combination, and it's going to be something that the Bears are going to utilize heavily this season. Crimson's right. Jalen Johnson is the last one. That's fact. That's a fact. I went too far back. Shout out to Crimson on that one. Let me know how you guys feel down in the comments below, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page if you have not done so. What did Crimson say? He said, I just don't worry about injuries before the week 1 injury report. Well, that's not true. Well, you're not right about everything. I think there are some injuries that you do have to worry about, because the reality is where this Bears offensive line is at right now, you can't afford to lose another piece like Darnell Wright. You don't. The left tackle battle, and even when you heard Ben Johnson talk about the left tackle yesterday, I mean, this is a conversation that is sickening at this point, and it is because of some of the injuries that you have dealt with on that left side, right? Like it's you didn't want to be in this spot again. You didn't want to be having this same conversation again. And so, like, looking at what Darnell has been on the right side, that has been a point of stabilization for this offensive line. Very similar to what Joe Thuney is for the left side of this line. The problem is one of those guys a tackle, one of those guys a guard, and that outside pressure can definitely get to Caleb with the guys that you have on that left side right now. I mean, that competition at this point is laughable. There's been nobody in 2 years. In 2 years, there's been nobody who has taken the bull by the horns and actually been able to go out there and show any level of impact. There's been nobody who's actually been able to go out there and show any level of consistency. The best that we got was Theo Benedette. And it doesn't feel like he's going to get this job this year, because they may need him as far as a swing tackle goes, and they don't want to risk losing a guy to that left side. It feels like Braxton Jones is going to win this job again by default. Like, that's sad to see. Because where Braxton started off, as far as camp goes, where I was like, he's clearly the best that there is out there on that left side, that hasn't continued. That hasn't continued. Like, there isn't a left tackle on this team healthy, and you've got 4 of them healthy. There isn't a single left tackle on this team that is healthy, or that is good when healthy, and you've got 4 of them healthy. Theo is solid. That's the best that we can say, and I don't think he's going to win the job. Again, let me know how you guys feel down in the comments below, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Very good to hear this. Another update from yesterday with Courtney Cronin, and I did want to get into is something that, you know, this team, when you talk about it overall, and there was something that happened in practice yesterday that I thought was, you know, very indicative of the kind of team that you're going to have this season, is you're seeing a level of expectation within the building that we probably haven't seen in Chicago since I wanted to say Nagy, but I mean, I can't say that because he didn't hold himself to his own standards. So I guess you got to go back to Lovey. Yesterday during practice, Jalen Johnson, somebody who is, you know, viewed as a leader on this team. And I feel like some people have this mindset of him that, you know, he's not all in on the team because he's all in on the bag. And yesterday proved that that's just unequivocally not true. They had a moment in the middle of the field where usually when players meet in the middle of the field, it's because Ben Johnson is wrapping practice. Courtney says she kind of was looking around like, oh, is practice over already? But there was one drive, there was a couple of periods left, and Jalen Johnson called the entire team together and let them know that the performance that they were putting on display was not good enough. Let them know that they needed to give more. Let them know that they needed to give something extra that they hadn't been giving to this point. And Courtney said those last couple of periods, they had a red zone period, and then they had a long drive period where it's just, you know, going out there and putting in work. And I think it was a 12-play period, and you're grinding and it's hot and everything is going against you. You have all of that. But she said those were two of the best periods of practice that she had watched this entire training camp, because this team was going twice as hard as they were going before. And Jalen Johnson, the one who called everybody together and is holding them accountable and is setting the standard and re-emphasizing the standard that Ben Johnson is putting in place. This team has expectation, and they realize it, and they're looking around and they're going, everybody's not giving enough. And by the way, I'll tell you this, after being up there a lot, they're giving a lot. It's not like they're going out there and lollygagging. It's not like they're going out there and they're just going through the dog days of practice and they're just trying to stumble their way through. No, they're putting in work, and they still go, this ain't enough. Respect. I respect that so much from Jalen Johnson. I respect that so much from this Bears organization. And you can tell that Ben Johnson mindset has just gone down to everybody, and that the leaders of this team are looking around at some of the guys that maybe they're pulling with them and saying, you're not doing enough. And if you don't do enough, we'll get you up out of here. That's a standard that hasn't been in Hallis Hall. That's a standard that hasn't been in Soldier Field. That's a standard that hasn't been in this organization since Brian Urlacher, Olin Kreutz, and Lance Briggs were on the field. I'll take that all day. I'll take that all day. Because you know what it means, even for Jalen, right? What are we all saying? We're all saying this. The offense is going to have to put up 50 points. The offense is going to have to figure it out. They're going to have to go out there and put up 50 points, because there's no way that we're going to be able to stop anybody. Jalen Johnson looking around going, what the heck are we doing? What are we talking about right now? This is not the Chicago Bears standard of what a defense is supposed to be. And you know what? The names that were in there in that final drive, Jordan Vandenberg in the middle, because Javon Dexter had been pulled out. Oddly enough, 20 minutes right before the trade talks were happening. But Javon Dexter had been pulled out. Darnell Wright was dealing with his injury. And so you were seeing Theo Benedict on that right side helping rip off big runs. You were seeing Jordan Vandenberg in the middle with the ones. And from what I hear, he was thrashing guys. Like you're seeing young pieces take on this Ben Johnson mindset. And some of these guys look fairly terrifying. As a collective, is the defense going to be elite? I still don't believe so. I need to see it to believe it. But I love the fact that Jalen's not like, we're not just going to lie down and take it. That tells you this team means more to him than what the bag means. Now, he wants the bag. He said that this is viewed as a contract season. You want the bag. But that lets you know that there's more to this team than just, how am I going to get my next contract? And that gets me excited about what this team can do, because with that mindset, you can win a lot of games you shouldn't win. With that mindset, you can go out there and compete in games that maybe you look like you shouldn't compete in. On both ends of the field. Not just the offensive end, because I think the offense can compete with anybody in football. But I love the fact that he's like, this is not our standard, and it amped everybody up. This team's going to be fun this year. I know we look at the roster. I know we look at the lineup. I know we're looking at the injuries right now. We're going, yo, this is getting too much to overcome. It's not. Not with this coaching staff. Think about everything they overcame last season. Not with this coaching staff. Not with this offense, not with the amount of weapons that you have, not with the mind of Ben Johnson at the helm. The defense has been our biggest question, and they hear it and they see it and they say, we're going to do something about it. And maybe Ryan Poles is saying, well, they're going to do something about it, depending on what a trade might end up being if they end up moving on from Javon Dexter. I like how official chief said it. He said the offense will be elite, the defense will be improved. That's a great way to look at it. I look at this run defense, and I think the Bears' run defense is going to be something that you're going to have to, the teams are going to struggle with. Pass defense is going to be spooky. I do see the pass defense, and I'm like, listen, it's going to be Yeah, right. We gonna give up some 3rd and 19s. But then I see the Bears in the red zone, and you know what it reminds me of? Remember, what was it? That second to last year of Flus? No, maybe it was the last year. Was it the last year? Had to be, because, well, I was working at ESPN for a lot of Flus. But when the Bears were terrible at stopping people in the middle of the field, but literally had like the 3rd best red zone defense, and so they kept just giving up field goals. And the only reason they were losing is because the offense wasn't good enough. That's kind of what I think this team is going to be. Now, on the flip side of that, the one part that does get me excited, now that you can stop the run, if you can get teams into 3rd and long, Darnell Wright said it last season. And I think it still holds true. If you can get teams into 3rd and long, we know where the football is going to be. We just got to beat our man there. Al Harris has been real good about that. Real good about that. So maybe with Tyreek and maybe with Jalen, and, you know, if you're throwing Malik in there, and if Kyler is still alive over there, and, you know, like maybe with all of those names, you know, Cam Lewis, Xavier Wood, right? Like all those names you look at and you're like, okay, yeah, we got some names out here. We got some guys that are figuring it out. If you pair them with Al Harris in the perfect scenario, can they come away with that football? That might be the case. I don't know if they replicate what they did last year, interception and takeaway wise, but I still think that they're in a conversation of being one of those better takeaway football teams. And if you do that with an elite red zone defense, that's something that an offense can blow the doors off of you with. But hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, hit that like button if you have not done so. We got over 200 in the chat. Oh, that's the wrong one. We got over 200 in the chat. 200. Big shout out to you guys, man. Just wanted to hit y'all with that update. I have to head out and go do the Chicago Bears podcast. Going to be on with Yurko today, so make sure that you tap in with us tonight. Appreciate y'all as always, man, for showing love in the manner that you're doing. If any other updates come down the pipeline, I will be there for you. Hit that like button. Like I said, y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. It's your boy, Pat the Designer. Back at it again. Bet out. One love. Peace.
Red Nation, are we here? The best show for Chicago sports.